Hello, Daisy Girl Scouts. This is Sarah, and today we are going to be learning how we can earn our Mechanical Engineering Design a Board Game Challenge badge. So for this badge, we're going to learn about what an engineer is, about board games, and how you can create your own board game at home. But first, before we get on to games, I want to just make sure that we all know what engineering is and who an engineer is. So an engineer is someone who likes to solve problems. And I know a lot of you out there love to solve problems. So an engineer uses their brain to think of ways that they can make the world a better place, just like we do at Girl Scouts. So today we're going to put on our engineer thinking cap and think of how we can make the world a better place by creating a fun board game. So let's talk a little bit about games and what step one is. Step one is come up with an idea for your board game. So there's so many different games out there. Some of the favorite games that I like to play don't have boards. They're card games. I like playing War or Go Fish or Uno, lots of different card games. However, there are some that do have boards. And one, for example, is Clue. And I love playing Clue. And as you can see here, Clue has a really big game board. And all of these different squares are places you can move. So in Clue, each person has their own game piece. You have your own color so that you know who is who, and you move across the board and you're trying to solve a mystery in the game of Clue. How you move in Clue is you roll a die. There's other ways you can move in games too. Like in the game Twister, you spin a spinner and it tells you where you put your hand or your foot and what color you put it on. In one of my favorite games, Candyland, you draw cards and it tells you how many colors to move. So there's a lot of different ways that you can move and play games. I want you to think of your favorite game, and if you have it, go ahead and get it out and look at all the different pieces. Does it have a board? Does it have pieces to move? Does it have a die, or do you have cards or a spinner? What makes that game your favorite, and what do you use to play that game? After that, I want you to look at the rules. Do you take turns? Is it a game for just one person or 4 people? How do you play the game? How long does this game last? So I want you to think of all of those things when you're looking at your favorite game, so it gives you ideas on how to make your own game that you're going to create. So the idea I came up with for my game is called the Girl Scout Law game, and I wanted to be able to learn and teach others about the Girl Scout Law. So I drew my game up on a piece of paper, but I think what I want to do is I want to either get a big poster board, or you can use cardboard, anything around your house to make your own board game. So my board game looks like this. I made it into a fun U shape. So here's my starting point and my finish line. And throughout, you can see I have the different pieces of the Girl Scout Law. Honest and fair, considerate and caring. And then I have some colored spaces with nothing on them. Those are just if I land on them, I don't have to do anything. If I land on a piece that has part of the Girl Scout Law, I need to ask myself, how can I be honest and fair and share that with the group? Or how can I be courageous and strong? So anytime you land on a piece that has Girl Scout Law on it, that person will share how they can do those things. I also have some other pieces on there that are either fun or that they might cause you to go backwards, just some fun things that are on some games. So here I have a go back 3 space. Down here at the bottom, this big space is sing a song. One really cool part I thought would be fun is a bridge. So we bridge levels in Girl Scouting. So I thought it would be fun to tie in a bridge to my game piece. So if you land here on the bridge, you just take the bridge over and you land in responsible for what I say and do. So you get to skip part of the board. So you can do whatever you want for your design, and make sure you have a finish line if you want a finish line. Maybe you don't. So here's where I finish, and we talk about how we can be a sister to every Girl Scout on that final space. So I think it's a really fun way that I can help teach people what the Girl Scout Law means and what it means to be a Girl Scout. So then I drew that up and I went on to step 2. 2, which is design a spinner for your game. So for this, I'm going to have to find pieces for my game for people to use, and then I designed a spinner for them to use so they can move on the board. So I used cardboard because it's nice and sturdy, and I just drew a circle, and on my circle I drew spaces that you could move forward. I have some that are lose a turn, spin again, some that are backwards, and then I created double turn, which means you get to go 2 times in a row. So you get to spin, do that, and then spin again, and do that all in one turn, which I think is really fun. But be creative. You can have pieces be big, small. You can have all good pieces. You can have mostly bad or go backward spaces or lose a turn, whatever you think is best. And then you just draw it on your cardboard. Like I said, I use this because it's nice and sturdy, and I might even cut it out so it's a nice circle. And then I needed to create the spinner part. So I used extra cardboard to create an arrow, and I colored it. And then you're gonna need tape and a paper clip. So I have a paper clip and I've already bent it. So I want you to unravel your paper clip and make it as straight as you can. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that paper clip and you're going to make it into an L, or have a 90-degree angle. Try to get it into an L as best as you can. So as you can see, I have my L-shaped paper clip. And then what I'm going to do with the top part is I am going to bend it down, but I still want an L. So I bent that part down like that. And then I still have my straight line. I'm going to fix that just a little bit. You're going to want more of the bottom. All right, so it should look something like this once you're done. So you have a little bit of a hook up there and then a nice straight line. And then what I used to make a hole in my spinner is I had a tack. So I just poked my hole right through the middle. And if your cardboard's too thick to poke through with the paper clip, you could ask an adult to help you. Maybe you have a pin, or you could use scissors or something just pointy, but make sure you're safe. And if you need help, be sure to ask that adult. And then I did the same thing with my arrow. I poked a hole right there in kind of the middle part of my arrow. So now I have the hole in my arrow and the hole in my spinner. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put the long part into my arrow so that it looks like this, so that the hook's on top and then the L part is out. And then this is where you put the L part in your spinner like this. And at the bottom, you're going to have the board. So that's just where you're going to tape down the L part of your spinner. And if you have to flatten it out a little more, that's okay too. So you're going to tape this part down. All right, so we taped it down, and you can see now my arrow spins. And you might have to adjust it a little bit to get it to spin how you want it to spin. So now, when we play our game, someone will spin the arrow, and it looks like I spun lose a turn. So I would lose my turn, and it would be the next person's turn. And for my game, I think I can have as many players as I want, and I can even play by myself. But that's up to you too. Maybe you just want a 2-player game or a 1-person game. That is something that you get to decide when you create your board game. So then the final step, step 3, is test your game and make it better. So this is like the biggest part of engineering, is getting feedback or asking people questions on how we can make what we created better. So something that I noticed right off the bat is that my spinner isn't spinning as smoothly or as quickly as I would like. So maybe I might do something to help make my spinner spin a little bit better. And also, I want my game board to be bigger. So this is just something I drew up to give me an idea of what I want it to look like. Now I need to make it even bigger and better so that we can have a lot more fun than just playing on a piece of paper. So ask your family, what are some things that can make your board game better? Is it too short? Did it go by really fast? Or was it too long? Did it take you a really long time to finish your game? Was it too hard? Were people not understanding, and did they have a lot of questions? And if that was the case, that's okay. What can you do to make it easier, make it better for your players to play? So think of all of those questions and ask people questions on what you can do to make your game better, and then make those corrections. I'm so excited to see all of the different games that you girls come up with. If you want to share what your spinner and what your board game looks like, go ahead and take a photo and put it in the comments below. I am excited to see everything you come up with and excited to see these games hopefully soon on the shelf. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care.